Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm doing a video about all you need to know about Montserrat for your self-guided tour. I don't know why I never considered Montserrat. I've been to Barcelona before, but it is a day trip from Barcelona and well worth it if you are there. So Montserrat is basically a multi-peaked mountain range near Barcelona, about a 2-hour drive or, about an hour and a half by, train. And it almost looks like it's man-made. It's so beautiful. It's unbelievable that it was made through nature. And it is in the very near Barcelona. It is is home to one of the most important religious sites in Spain. It's there is a Benedictine abbey called the Santa Maria de Montserrat, which is located there. And you can all take tours, guided tours and theater tours. They're more expensive, but they plan everything for you. The knock on that is that you just usually only have about 2 or 3 hours there. And we actually spent, I think, the whole day, like 8 hours there. And it's well worth it from my perspective. It's a little bit more work to get organized. And you have to book your own tickets, but we thought it was well worth it. So again, we booked online, and I'm going to give you the site. There's a lot of different sites. It's very confusing, but we booked on the Montserrat site. There's a huge amount of different packages, so it's very confusing. But we actually booked the one that is a visit to Montserrat that gives you the train and then the cog train up there. So you have to take two trains or two ways. You have to take a train from Placa España in Barcelona to a kind of stop near the Montserrat city. And then there you get off at either one stop, which is going to be where you take the air cable car up, or else the second stop, which is where you take the cog train up. So I took the cog train up. So the train from Barcelona, the Plaza España, to the closest stop near Montserrat is about an hour. And then the cog train is about 15 or 20 minutes. And I think the cable car is a little bit less. But, we chose the cog train. People can choose that. I think with these type of combined tickets, you have to go, both ways, the same thing. So you have to use cog the both ways. But the way we did it is we bought this combined ticket. You get to visit Montserrat with the train and the cog train tickets. Return to Barcelona, you get the visit to the Throne of the Virgin or the Black Madonna. You get a visit into the chapel, and then we bought an additional ticket for the singing of the boys' choir. Sometimes they'll offer a combined ticket. It's about between 47 to 55 euros per person, which I think is a really good deal. And you probably pay probably double that if you were taking a guided tour, bus tour, and you wouldn't have as much time. When you buy this ticket online, you go to Placa España. There is on the surface an elevator that actually says Montserrat, that you go down that elevator. There's lots of signs to go to where you should go for the Montserrat train. I will mention that if you buy from the Montserrat this ticket from on site, you still have to redeem it at the FGC booth, the Ferrocarril de la Generalitat de Catalonia booths at Placa España. You could actually just go to Placa España and buy the ticket. But again, if you want to buy these combined tickets, I think you have to go to this booth. We got there, it wasn't that busy, but then sometimes you might have a long lineup. And the trains only come, I think, maybe every 30 minutes or an hour. Once you have the train, it's going to go for an hour, about an hour, 45 minutes an hour. If you're going on the cable car, your stop is going to be Aori de Montserrat. If you're going to the cog wheel stop, it's going to be Monastery de Montserrat. And on the actual train, there's only one train that goes that way. And on the train, they will actually have kind of little light up LEDs that show which station you're going at. So we'll just kind of get to that station. And as you approach the track or the Montserrat, the views get better. So this is kind of what you start to get. This is before you get to the cable car and the wheel train. And I will mention the combined tickets includes the audio guide. There's an audio visual space, and then there is a Montserrat museum also. We were there on a weekend, but I think it's better than normally a weekday. But it was still crowded because it's a normal train that does travel all the way to Montserrat, that there's stops all along. So regular people do use this, not just tourists. We got because it's the first stop, we got our seat and it was crowded. But I don't think it was like overly crowded. There was people. But most people were going to Montserrat and you got a seat. Then after an hour, you get to the stop, and you get off, and then you just walk about 100 meters, and then there's another train or the cogwheel train, and that goes to Montserrat, the abbey. And this, I guess, is quite like clockwork. It's kind of like maybe you wait 4 or 5 minutes, not very long. It's kind of a mad rush there. They'll check your tickets, and this is this train is also, I would say, moderately full. It's I would say almost people. I think everyone got a seat. It wasn't like people. It was like crowded like a rush hour in a subway system, but it wasn't empty either. But it was a nice ride up, and again about 10-15 minute ride up to the top of the abbey. It is quite a steep incline, so you're up kind of almost like I would say 30 degrees in terms of the incline. But it is neat. I chose to do this rather than the cable car. One, I'm not crazy about cable cars. Two, I think it's a longer ride, which actually is more scenic. And three, I think with a cable car, you're probably kind of stuck in a big cable car and not you can't really get the views. Whereas on this cog train, if you get a seat and you get a window seat, you can get very nice views. So as you go up there, everyone's not sure actually what you're looking for. If you look at it, the actual monastery is actually a small part of the actual mountain range. It doesn't look, you can kind of spot it from afar, but it's just a part of the mountain range. The actual Montserrat is a mountain range, and there's an abbey there. So that's two separate things. When you get there, it's kind of a mad rush. There's a street, kind of a main street, and everyone's just walking around trying to figure out what's happening. The monastery, you have to walk up a bit, but it's kind of confusing because everyone's rushing off and trying to figure out where things are. I would suggest the first thing you do is you check into there's an information booth, and there's also a bookstore. So within the kind of the gift shop, there is a audiovisual space which you can go into, which is kind of an audiovisual museum. You can do that. We did that at the end of the day. And then across from it is a visitor center, and that's where you would pick up your audio guide. So what happens with the audio guide is that you actually scan a QR code, and then once you scan the code, you can pick that up on your phone. So if you are going to do that, I would then also just have your earplugs for your phone, because everything, the audio visual guide is on your phone. So you don't have to pick up anything. So that's just very good. And you'll see there's little signs even on the outside of things like 16, 14. That's the audio guide. And so we didn't actually realize it up till the end of the day, but that's lucky that we had so much time so we could be able to do that. So you'll see the views are stunning. So you're just kind of overwhelmed at first, and you just want to go to the monastery first. But outside is so beautiful, and that audio guide will help you to kind of steer yourself. Again, leave the audio visual space that's inside the bookstore for last. It's okay, but I would say that's a good thing to end the tour, not to begin the tour. So most people go into the monastery first, which is, I think, a mistake. You should go to the visitor center first, get your outside bearings first, and then go into the monastery. But most people are so excited to see the monastery, they go into the monastery first, and they actually forget about the audio guide, which is part of your admission. We also separately bought tickets for the boys choir, who plays every day at 1 o'clock except for weekends. For some reason, they were playing on this weekend. I'm not sure if it's actually the boys choir or some other choir, but someone was playing at 1 o'clock in our things. And so we went in there. So just note that when you do that, you get access. You're the only people that get access into the basilica at the after the noon time, and you do have to sit for a little while. We were there like I think 45 minutes before to get good seats. You want aisle seats so you can see the actual singing of the choir and take pictures. But it's a magnificent basilica to go to. You also, when you book your tickets, have to book your time for the Black Madonna, and our time was at 2 p.m. for that. But you'll see on the top, this is the altar, and the choir actually plays right below that or sings right below that. I'll have a couple of videos of that. And it's really neat. I think it's, if you're there, it's well worth it. And that's one of the good things. And then you'll see at the top of this picture, that's where the Black Madonna is. You actually go up afterwards in the side entrance and go up to see it. So, and you get, you'll see I took a stunning picture backwards towards the congregation from that space. But it's if it's well worth it to go to the choir. I've heard better choirs, but maybe this was not the boys' choir. And there's a lot of buzz. There's a lot of people, so it's not as solemn as you'd like, probably. But it's well worth it if you can be there. And that's one of the advantages of being there without a tour group. We're not rushed. I don't think with a tour group you could see both the Black Madonna and the choir and also have the time to walk around. So we really enjoyed our time there. The last video, that was I think a school group. I'm not sure what was going on because everything was in Spanish, but it seemed there was a group and it must have been a Catholic school and they were singing. So I don't think that was the boys' choir, but at the same point, it's still, the acoustics there is beautiful. And it's beautiful to hear children sing. So it was still neat to hear that. We were in the second row where people could actually sit. All the front was taken up by, I guess, special privileged people. And I think this must be a like Catholic schools or something was happening. But anyways, those people were up in the front. Maybe they were family of the people who were singing. I'm actually not sure who was singing that day. I think it was the boys choir, but again, they didn't announce anything, and everything was in Spanish. And it's kind of not that well organized in terms of no one really tells you what to do. You have to figure it out yourself. But the next couple of videos are what the boys choir or what we paid for singing. It's about 15-20 minutes. It is kind of neat. I don't know if I would actually build my trip around that. The whole cathedral itself is magnificent. So, it's 11 euros extra per person. I'm not sure if it's not that exclusive. There was a lot of people in there. It's got a lot of a hum, but I guess it's kind of a neat thing. So after that, we had about an hour before our time for seeing the Black Madonna. And so we just had a bite to eat. There's also a side chapel to the left that's got all these candles, which I'll show in the next picture. You can actually buy a candle and then light it there if you're Catholic. And this avenue extends all the way up the side of the church. So there's lots of candles. You can buy a small candle, I think, for about 220 euro, and then a larger candle for 570 euro. And a lot of people do that. It's quite a nice place, solemn place. But again, because there's so many visitors, it's really hard to kind of get the whole point. Having said that, even though there's lots of visitors, there's lots of open space, and there are places where you can really feel kind of spiritualness of the whole place. It is a very relaxing place, especially the outdoor spaces. Also, in addition, there are chapels. For instance, there's a chapel, a side chapel towards the left of the basilica, where you can pray, and there's no, you can only go in there if you're praying. So there's no photos, there's no videos, and that's kind of a nice sanctuary if you would like to yeah, kind of get into your spiritualness. The whole surrounding is so picturesque, and you can spend hours just out there, just looking at things. They have little shops, they have restaurants, they have a buffet, they have kind of gift shop where you buy sandwiches. Not really overpriced, I didn't think, but you can just enjoy. We were really lucky to have a great day, so we could just be outside eating, and lots of open space all around. So I thought it was a really great atmosphere. And again, you can find that respite in the open areas inside the actual chapel for the monastery. It's a little crowded, and there's a lot of people taking pictures everywhere. But because it's such an expansive space, it doesn't really seem like it's that crowded. Then we were going to our timed viewing of the Black Madonna. And during the course of that, you get to see a lot of different things during in the chapel, and we're just taking various pictures as you're lining up to get in there. It does take about 15 minutes for you to kind of clear the line, so you should get there early. Part of it is that you'll get a very good view of the navel, the chapel, and also of the organ, which is right across from the pulpit and the altar area. So you'll get a very close up view. We didn't get this close because it was blocked off when we were looking at the listening to the choir, but now we got a nice view as we were walking towards the Black Madonna. As you approach the Black Madonna, to talk a little bit about it, it's called Our Lady of Montserrat, or the Virgin of Montserrat. And it is actually a wooden statue that's painted in polychrome, and it was lighter in style, they decided that it was basically it became blacker either because of prolonged exposure to candle smoke or chemical reaction that caused by a varnish used as a paint sealant. So eventually they repainted it now in a more kind of lasting type paint. So now it's a little bit darker color. So it is, known as the Black Madonna at this point. As you approach it, everyone is very polite. They'll let you kind of take a photo or pray. But I didn't see anyone taking like minutes and minutes doing Instagram photos of here. So it was a very quick photo. All of it is behind a glass other than the like right hand that's got the ball. You can touch that and take a photo with that or pray. And so the line moves along. They expect you to kind of be orderly about these things. And so it worked out pretty well. You get it, you get your own time with it. So it worked out fine. And then if you turn your back, you get a very good photo of the congregation. So because you're on top of the altar, so you can take a quick photo there. But again, you're expected to not really kind of hold up the line, and we didn't see anyone doing ridiculous things. It's still a solemn place, and everyone is still respectful. After that, there's a small chapel. And again, there's not a lot of explanation. There is an audio guide on the outside, but a lot of things we're kind of just walking around figuring out what they are. So there could have been a little bit better, I guess, audio guide of this type of thing. They have various stops within the audio guide system, but they only have about 20 stops in total. So it wasn't a lot of guidance, and sometimes other places will have plaques. After that, then we went off to see the actual Montserrat Museum. And again, that also has an audio guide. I believe you have to pay for the audio guide for this museum, and I think it's €2.50. But this holds a lot of artifacts and things that were given to the monastery itself. And so you'll see paintings of Picasso and other famous artists who I guess their paintings have been gifted to the monastery again, some more artifacts and paintings of the museum. It's 2 floors. Probably half an hour, 45 minutes. But again, it's included in your admission fee. So you make worth of it. And in addition, that's the good thing about having your own self-guided tour, that you've got your own time. There's a lot to see in Montserrat. And even just enjoying the scenery, there's a lot there. So I would take it, I would strongly suggest going on your own time. Back outside, and we were kind of still enjoying things, and then we saw there was a cross on a hill, so we decided to take a hike. There's a couple of vernaculars. You can go to different places like the grotto and things like that, but we decided to do the hike. We talked to the visitor center. It's about 30 minutes up and back, and 30 minutes each way, so we thought it was a decent hike, and there's some really scenic points as you go along the hike. So there are a number of different hikes you can do. There's a funicular that goes up the mountain. You can actually hike up the mountain. I think some people, if you have a couple of hours. Likewise, you can go down the funicular to the Holy Grotto. There's so much to do. But we decided to go to a short hike to the Cross of Saint Michael, which marks the point from which pilgrims had their first view of the monastery. And today that viewpoint has a cross that stands there and gives you a ridiculously great view of Montserrat. And on a clear day, you can see as far as the Pyrenees mountain range, although I wasn't sure where that was. But it was, about a 20 to 30 minute hike uphill, and then downhill it is about, a little bit less. I think it's doable. You just take it slowly. Most people, I think, if you're really, it looks like a big hike. It's about 2,500 feet in elevation. But it is a winding road. It's just gradual. You just take your time. For most healthy people, they can do it pretty easily. For me, it was okay. You just take your time. Along the way, you get a lot of nature. You get a lot of these mountain goats. This one was just there looking at us, chopping at some grass. And then going backwards, you see magnificent views of the abbey itself. And again, it's just stunning. If you look at this mountain range, it's almost lifelike. It's almost like head-like or things like that. But it's unbelievable that the erosion of over time has created this magnificent viewpoint. So when you get up there, it is not as impressive as I think when you kind of see it from afar, because then you see some of the graffiti, unfortunately. But it is still a magnificent viewpoint. The only thing is there are people that kind of hog the view. Unfortunately, there are people that take a lot of pictures, and so kind of don't really go to the side. They kind of just hog the place, and you just have to be patient. But that's life in our Instagram world. Normally if I take a picture, I'll try and move away so other people take it. But some people are there for extended period of time. So I know that we kind of had to, at a certain point, ask people, hey, do you mind if we take a picture? While they were kind of looking at their photos and checking their photos, they said, yeah, do you mind if we just snap one first? But that's unfortunate. And you can see, looking down, I guess you can see the Pyrenees somewhere, but we weren't sure where the range was. Then we went to this, which is called the Stairway to Heaven. So we hike back down to the monastery, and then there's a road that leads from the main street onwards to almost like a parking area, and this is called the Stairway to Heaven. And they put a fence around it because there were people that in the past have actually tried to climb it. And although I'm sure some people can do it, it's very dangerous, obviously. And so now they have put a fence around it. So it's not as good for picture purposes, but still a kind of a neat place. And then also around there, the surrounding area, there's a lot of viewpoints. So you can see from this video here, it's just a magnificent viewpoint and quite mystical. So all in all, this is an exceptional experience. It is a must-see, I think, if you have the time. We did it because we've been to Barcelona before. We've seen all the Gaudi and the Familia Sagrada. So this was different, and we are so glad we did this. It's such a great experience, but you do need some time. I do recommend that you do your own self-tour. The train ride was fine. you just take your time. And I just like the idea that we could spend more time than we need, than, just we're on a time like 2 hour, 3 hour. 2 hours, 3 hours is really not enough for you to enjoy Montserrat. And we, in hindsight, really loved the idea that we were there the whole day, took our time, and really got everything out of our visit. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Until next time, safe travels.